Things I hear people, they ask me at my workshop, they said, do I have to be polite to the computer? And I said, well, there's a couple of different opinions there, because some people say, yeah, be not polite, and other people say it's a machine, type what you want to type. So what do you think? Do you need to be polite?
No.
No. Hi friends, welcome back to AI Unplugged. We're glad you came back today. We're going to spend a little bit of time today just talking about AI prompts, what they are, how to use them, whether or not we need to be polite to them or we can just talk to them or whatever. So we're going to try to answer a few of those questions today and just see how it all comes out, okay? So I guess my first prompt to Mark is, what is a prompt? That's a good one, right?
That is a good one. When you're asking me what is a prompt, the answer to that is, well, you're basically asking the AI for something. You're asking it to have a conversation with you. You're asking it a question. But what exactly are you asking the AI to do? And
so a prompt is what I want the AI to do?
Yeah, pretty much.
Is that what I'm looking for? But there's probably certain ways to ask that, isn't there?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought so. So I guess my big question is, before you dive in on all the theory and stuff like that, is do I have to be nice to this machine? Do I have to say, please, Mr. AI, provide this for me, thank you very much? Do I have to do that?
Well, that depends. If there's a robot revolution down the road, then maybe they'll remember your kindness.
Gotcha. Okay.
But no, it's just a tool. It doesn't have emotions.
Okay.
And so if you're going to be chatting with the AI, I think it depends on what you're asking it and what the intentions are, right?
Okay.
If you want to ask it something more that's needs more of a concrete kind of answer, right? Like, for example, you're programming and you want it to give you an answer that's logical. There's no need to actually say please or thank you or whatnot.
Because it's a machine.
It's a machine. It doesn't care. Yeah,
right.
It doesn't have emotions. So it doesn't care how you present. It's different than being polite, right?
Oh, okay. So the body of the prompt, what I say, is more important than how I say it.
Exactly.
Okay. That makes sense.
So we don't need to say please. In fact, saying please or thank you and being very kind to it might open yourself up to a lot of subjective answers rather than actually objective answers. Simply because of the nature of the AI. And we can talk a little bit more about the nature of AI in a bit, and maybe that'll make sense.
Okay. All right. So tell me about it.
Yeah.
Tell me about this thing. Prompting is, because if I don't know how to prompt, I can't get the right answer that I need out of this machine, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And so we gotta, right now we're kind of used to talking to a computer like a search engine, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So we gotta undo all that, because now I guess the first step would be, what is AI, right? AI is a simulation of the human mind, right? It's not exact, but it is very close to it. And so the way that the AI was trained off of a vast wealth of knowledge, right? There's a lot of books, there's a lot of lyrics and images for the image generators out there. Anything you can think of, it's tried to consume that. Websites, right? So be careful what you say online.
It may show up in an AI.
It may show up in an AI one day.
Oh, man. But not in UTverse, because we don't train, is that right?
Well, we use the AI models that are already trained.
We use them, so we don't have to train.
Exactly.
That's why our stuff is secure.
Yeah.
Gotcha, okay.
So I would say that the AIs are human-like, and they're based off of human language historically. Now, it doesn't train its knowledge based off of all of human history. I mean, obviously there's a lot of undocumented things, and even the documented things, they're not all part of the training sets. So if you're asking it a specific question about what historical event happened in 1617, but you have the book about it, but it doesn't show up in the AI, that's because the AI was never trained on this.
Okay, didn't read the book.
It didn't read the book.
All right, gotcha.
But essentially, the whole essence of prompting is talk to it like another person, right?
So tell me this. You and I had this discussion a week or so ago where we said putting a prompt is not a search, it's a conversation.
Right.
And I think that's what you were kind of hinting toward just then, was that when I go into Google, if you will, you know, or something like that, I have a certain way of writing that I've gotten used to, of asking Google for something. Give me this, you know, what is this? And with the AI, it's more in conversational style, I guess, where I need to give it specific information and things like this, or limitations or whatever, to help it understand. I mean, I don't know what I'm going for here. What's the difference between a search and a conversation? You know,
Well,
there's bound to be big differences.
there are some big differences, and I think that's worthy of just one episode, just deep dive into it.
Yeah.
But they're both doing some kind of semantic searching into a knowledge base, right?
Yeah.
But Google does a lot of its searching through a big database, a vector database full of information. It has to also compare your likes and dislikes from another database that we know Google has a lot of information about everyone.
Right.
It knows when you're pregnant before you even know you're pregnant. So,
Oh, wow. I hope it doesn't find out about me.
Yeah. But when you're searching with Google, the way that it's tailored, right? You put in your keywords like a certain flower that you want to look up, and that's it, right?
Okay, yeah.
But it doesn't need to know the context.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because all it cares about are keywords and associates those keywords with websites. For a large language model, what it does is that it has a layer of natural language, right, in between everything. And so it tries to understand specifically what you really, really want. Think of it kind of like I'm talking to you, right? If we're all having a conversation, right, and I ask you a question, what can you tell me about Tennessee? What comes up into your mind first thing?
First thing, Smoky Mountains.
There you go. I had something completely different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had volunteer state. So we both think something different, right?
Yeah.
And so prompting is kind of similar like that, because with an AI, right? It's based off of what are you trying to, the context that you're giving it, right? And so while there's still some of that true when you're searching Google, you can't have a full length conversation with Google. You can't type in a whole paragraph in the actual search, right?
Gotcha.
But with something like UTverse, you can throw a whole book at it, or you could have a paragraph or two just you typing it away or verbally talking to it. And then when you're giving it a lot of information, right? The more information that you give it, the more it'll understand the context of the question that you're asking. So instead of saying, what can you tell me about Tennessee? Maybe you could say, what can you tell me about the Great Smoky Mountains? Because now it understands.
Narrowing it
down.
Okay.
But specifically, what are you asking about the Great Smoky Mountains? Maybe you don't know. And so maybe this is where you have a iteration process with the AI, right? And so you say, tell me about Tennessee. And then it tells you, well, it has, Great Smoky Mountains connects to it and all of that. And so you say, okay, well, tell me about the Great Smoky Mountains. And then now it tells you about the Great Smoky Mountains. And then now you say, well, tell me about Mount LeConte or something like that, right? And because it informed you that, it's, I think, the highest peak in the Great Smoky Mountains.
So you're chatting back and forth,
Yes.
just like you and I have a conversation.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you can't do that with Google.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, now they have...
Because it doesn't remember the last thing I asked it, does it? Okay.
No. But I mean, well, it does remember what the last thing you asked.
But not the same context as
exactly.
this. Okay.
But now Google's introducing their AI into their search results, right? So now with the search results of just saying Tennessee, right? Well, what comes up gives you a list of websites, but now there's also a suggestion from the AI about some information about Tennessee.
I've seen that at the top of the page.
So, and a lot of websites are doing that these days. And so it becomes more of something that people need to be more familiar about, because AI is incrementally being part about our daily lives. We have it on our phones, we have it in our cars, we have it, probably in our TV soon if it's not already there.
Yeah.
So we have to kind of understand how to interact with the AI, and this is where prompting comes in.
Okay. So it's just a way of, so prompting is just simple terms, just how to talk to the AI. You know, whether it be UTverse or Claude or any of these, right?
Yeah. Well, some of them are built a little differently. So they're specified for very specific kind of prompts, but the general kind of prompts like ChatGPT, Copilot, UTverse, those are all kind of the generalized ones.
Okay.
And so you can talk to them like another human being.
Okay. So they're, what do they call that? Natural language or something like that?
Yeah, they're generative AI based off natural language processing.
All right. Wow. Good stuff. Good stuff. So maybe next week what we could do is chat a little bit about how to write these prompts and and how to make them how to get this thing to give us the answer that we're really looking for. Because I know a lot of times, I don't know about you guys, but there's been so many times I've gone in here and I've typed a question into here and it gives me this long dissertation of information, and I go, no, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to know how much food do I give my dog, and this kind of thing. So maybe next week you could help us dig in a little bit deeper and we can see what happens there.
Yep, absolutely. And can't wait for it.
Good deal. Hey, y'all, thanks for coming today. I hope this has been a little eye-opening to all of us, understanding a little bit more about what a prompt is. And next week, we're going to jump in not next week, it'll be week after next, won't it? We're going to jump in just a little bit deeper and see if we can map out the specifics of writing a really good prompt so that we get the information, so the conversation, like we talked about, comes up really well. So thank y'all for coming. We appreciate it, and we hope you have a wonderful week. Thanks, y'all.
Bye-bye.